Hi, and welcome to the Tuesday Bible Study. I'm Eric. I'm the pastor here at Trinity. And I have a very special guest with me today. Please introduce yourself, guest. Well, you probably can't hear that soft talker. This is Jacob. Jacob is one of the earliest fidget toys that we know about. But we'll talk about Jacob in a little bit and give Jacob a chance to say some things a little later on. That's okay, I'll do all the readings. First reading is from Genesis 28. Jacob left Beersheba and went toward Haran. He came to a certain place and stayed there for the night, because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of the place, he put it under his head and lay down in that place. And he dreamed that there was a stairway set up on the earth, the top of it reaching to heaven, and the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And the Lord stood beside him and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give to you and your offspring. And your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. And all the families of the earth shall be blessed in you and in your offspring. Know that I am with you, and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Then Jacob woke from his sleep and said, Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid and said, How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. So Jacob rose early in the morning, and he took the stone that he had put under his head and set it up for a pillar and poured oil on top of it. He called that place Bethel, house of God. Bethel, house of God. So all kinds of stuff. One stairway to heaven. Where do you think this comes from? But this was also used to be known as Jacob's ladder. It was translated earlier as a ladder. And so we actually have here, Jacob's ladder. It's the fun idea that it just goes up and it never stops. You can keep climbing the ladder and go up and go down. And in this passage you see angels going about God's work. We hear another one of God's promises. It's a repeated promise, a promise that God has made to Abraham, that all of the earth is blessed through what God is doing in their family. I need us to hear that always, that it's God blessing everybody, not just God blessing this family. That's a big deal. And of course, Jacob is scared. Because if you're in God's presence and you're not worthy of being in God's presence, that's a death sentence. It is appropriate for God to end your life. At least this is what is a predominant thought in Jacob's time. But he still recognizes the place as being special and anoints it and names it the house of God. That's awesome. That's a good point, Jacob. Any more? On to the Psalm, selected verses from Psalm 139. Lord, you have searched me out. O Lord, you have known me. You know my sitting down and my rising up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You trace my journeys and my resting places, and are acquainted with all my ways. Indeed, there is no word on my lips, but you, O Lord, know it altogether. You encompass me behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is so high that I cannot attain it. Where can I go, then, from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I climb up to heaven, you are there. If I make the grave my bed, you are there also. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there Your hand will lead me, and your right hand hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will cover me, and the light around me turn to night, darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as day. Darkness and light to you are both alike. Search me out, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my restless thoughts. Look well whether there be any wickedness in me, and lead me in the way that is everlasting. I love some of the verses of this psalm very, very much. This is a powerful section. Knowing God's omnipresence, that God is always with us and always around us, it is comforting. For me, as I have gone through bouts of depression and suicidal thoughts, there is also this line that really matters. Surely the darkness will cover me, I say to myself, and the light around me will turn to night. But darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as day. Darkness and light to you are both alike. That even when we're in the worst place in our life, God's love hasn't changed for us. God's love is still there. It might be harder for us to see it, but it's not harder for God to see us. And there's real joy in that. Holding on to God's truth, knowing that God is still around us. This imagery also challenges a hard dichotomy between dark and light. I know the Gospel of John is dripped in that. But there is this notion that darkness isn't a problem. God is still at work in the night. God is still at work in the dark. That's not a distinction that God makes. And so this should challenge us, this particular verse in the psalm, should challenge us to be careful of making these hard dichotomies between darkness and light, between who is in God's presence and who isn't. And that's a good thing, especially when we get to the gospel. But we're not quite there yet. We need to do some more Romans, because Paul and Romans, and it's the A cycle. So we're reading from Romans. So then, siblings, we are obligated not to the flesh to live according to the flesh, for if you live according to the flesh you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, you will live. For all who are led by the Spirit of God are children of God. For you did not receive a spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you received a spirit of adoption. And we cry, Abba, Father. It is that very Spirit breathing witness in our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God and joint heirs with Christ, if we in fact suffer with him, so that we may also be glorified with him. I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory about to be revealed to us. For the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the children of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not of its own will, but of the will of the one who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself will be set free from its enslavement to decay, and will obtain the freedom of the glory of the children of God. We know that the whole creation has been groaning together as it suffers together the pains of labor. And not only the creation, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly while we wait for the adoption, the redemption of our bodies. For in hope we were saved. Now hope that is seen is not hope, for who hopes for what one already sees? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience. As always, there's a lot in this. Because there always is. There's a lot to unpack here. That what we are obliged to is hope. Wow. We have some sense of owing hope. That's just kind of awesome. That we cry out as God's children, and that it's about this movement of the Spirit, not some particular thing that we humans do. That's what makes us children of God. And then this suffering bit. I always need to say, don't go looking for your own cross. If you are in an abusive relationship, this is not God using you to save that other person. It's a relationship that the other person has already broken. You don't need to stay in it. Get out. Get help. Church can help. We really can. You shouldn't stay in an abusive relationship, because that's not you earning your salvation or getting what you deserve. That's the other person being an abuser. This is not God's work or God's desire for you. What Paul is talking about here is what happens when you follow faithfully the good news of God in Christ and proclaim that in what you say and what you do. Hard things will happen. We Lutherans follow Luther's thought on this one, that as you are faithful in your life, a cross will be put upon you. It will not be something that you have to seek out. It will not be your own that you choose to pick up. It will be the one that is laid upon you as you are following Jesus, just like he had one put on him that he had to carry his own way. And the goal is the same, that as we carry our cross, the old person in us is put to death, so that the new person might rise up. That was good insight. It is a message of hope. That all of those tendencies that we have away from what God would want us to do, they're going to pass away as well. Let's turn to the gospel. Another set of parable and explanation from the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus put before the crowds another parable. The kingdom of heaven may be compared to someone who sowed good seed in his field. But while everybody was asleep, an enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat, and then went away. So when the plants came up and bore grain, then the weeds appeared as well. And the slaves of the householder came and said to him, Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? Where then did these weeds come from? He answered, An enemy has done this. The slaves said to him, Then do you want us to go and gather them? But he replied, No. For in gathering the weeds you would uproot the wheat along with them. Let both of them grow together until the harvest. And at harvest time I will tell the reapers, Collect the weeds first and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn. Then he left the crowds and went into the house. And his disciples approached him, saying, Explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field. He answered, The one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed are the children of the kingdom. The weeds are the children of the evil one. The enemy who sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are angels. Just as the weeds are collected and burned up with fire, so will it be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send angels, and they will collect out of his kingdom all causes of sin and all evildoers, and they will throw them into the furnace of fire, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Let anyone with ears listen. Another parable, yay! Another parable that isn't fully explained. What? The slaves of the master are never unpacked, right? We have who's the one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children, the kingdom. The weeds are the children of the evil one. The enemy is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are the angels. But what about the slaves who look at the master and go, Hey, where'd these weeds come from? I think that's us. Both looking at, each of us looking into ourselves and going, oh, where did these weeds come from? And also us looking around at the world, wondering what in the world has happened. I think both instances are really a call for us to pay attention to God's grace. That it's not our place to judge others. that God is at work even when we're in those darkest moments in our life, and that there is hope, that the house of God, well, is in our midst and will be found in unexpected places, that God blesses individuals so that all of the world might be blessed. There is this sense of patience. Yes, there's a judgment, but there's also a lot of waiting involved. That we're not bound to discern right now who's in and who's out. That's not even our job. Not to mention it's the wrong time. That we wait and grow as faithfully as we can. Not worrying about who's in and who is out, but knowing that our call, especially in this season of ordinary time, the green season, is to grow in the daily life that God has given us with grace and hope. Thank you, Jacob. See you next week. And now, some ASMR.